have somebody that's willing to violate that trust. It's emblematic of a deeper rooted issue.
I don't know how the hell Shams got that story or how that even leaked, especially it being like,
we could be here, we've worked here and all of this other stuff. There's certain things I'm never doing because I got love for y'all.
Paul George was supposed to be the missing piece for the 76ers, but guess what? He's turned into their biggest problem. The stats don't lie. George is averaging just 16 points a game and shooting under 40%, and it gets worse. While George struggles, Joel Embiid is playing hurt, and the team is losing. How did the 76ers go from contenders to bottom of the standings so fast? Let's break down this disaster. Remember when everyone thought Paul George was the missing piece for the 76ers? The hype was real. Fans were going crazy. Sports analysts were calling Philly the team to beat, and even Joel Embiid couldn't stop smiling. It was like Christmas came early for the city of brotherly love, but then the season started, and things got ugly fast. Like, really ugly. Paul George isn't just underperforming. He's playing some of the worst basketball of his career. You know those highlight reels we were expecting? Yeah, they're more like low-light reels now. Let's break down PG-13's stats. And trust me, they're not pretty. He's averaging just 16 points a game. That's his lowest since his rookie year. And his shooting, it's like he forgot how to use a basketball. He's hitting less than 40% of his shots. For a guy who used to be a walking bucket, that's shocking.
I think the leak is the bigger issue only from the standpoint that, you know, players like RC and Cam can speak to this better than me, but I've been covering locker rooms for close to 30 years.
some of it being like kind of word for word, or not necessarily word for word, but quoted.
Compare that to his prime years with the Pacers, or even his time with the Clippers. George was dropping 28 points a game, shooting over 45%, and locking guys down on defense. Now, he's struggling to keep up with second-string players, but it's not just about George's personal stats. His struggles are dragging the whole team down. The offense looks clunky, like they're trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. Embiid's getting double-teamed more because defenses don't respect George's shot. And don't even get me started on their defense. It's like they're playing musical chairs out there. The dream of a big three in Philly is turning into a nightmare. Instead of championship parades, fans are talking about trade deadlines. The 76ers went all in on Paul George, and right now, it looks like they're holding a losing hand. But wait, you think that's bad? It gets worse. Way worse. Because while George is struggling, the basketball gods decided to throw another curveball at the 76ers. And this one might just be the knockout punch to their season. You know what's crazier than PG-13 underperforming? The injury bug biting hard. It's like the basketball gods decided to throw a massive party in Philly, and everyone's invited, except the 76ers star players. Let's talk about Tyrese Maxey for a second. This guy was on fire, leading the league in minutes played at 39.7 per game. He was the Energizer Bunny of the team, never stopping, always pushing. Then bam! A hamstring strain against the Clippers, and he's out. Just like that, the 76ers lost their spark plug. But wait, it gets worse. Joel Embiid, the big man himself, can't catch a break either. He's been in and out with a left knee injury, and when he's on the court, you can tell he's not 100%. It's like watching a lion with a thorn in its paw. Still dangerous, but definitely hurting. Now imagine trying to build team chemistry when your lineup is changing more often than a teenager's TikTok feed. One day, you're playing with Embiid and Maxey. The next, you're looking around wondering where everyone went. It's no wonder the 76ers are struggling to find their rhythm. This constant shuffle is exposing a big problem. The 76ers bench is thinner than a slice of Philadelphia cheesesteak. When the stars are out, there's no one stepping up to fill those massive shoes. It's like the team put all their eggs in 3 very fragile baskets. You're probably thinking, could it get any worse? Well, hold on to your jerseys because it just might. The 76ers are in a tailspin, and there's no clear way out. Every game is a guessing game of who's going to be healthy enough to play. So, did Paul George really tank the 76ers season? It's not that simple. Sure, he's underperforming, but these injuries have turned a bad situation into a full-blown disaster. It's like trying to sail a ship with a broken mast in the middle of a storm. Good luck with that. But here's the kicker. There's more to this story than just bad luck and injuries. The 76ers problems run deeper than what we see on the court. And trust me, what's happening behind the scenes might just be the most shocking part of all. Remember when your parents would say, "We need to talk"? Well, the 76ers just had one of those moments, but way worse. Kyle Lowry called a team meeting, and let's just say it didn't go as smoothly as he hoped. Some things were said, feelings were hurt, and now we're all left wondering, is this the beginning of the end for Philly? So here's what went down. Lowry, being the veteran he is, wanted to address the team's struggles. Makes sense, right? But things took a wild turn when Tyrese Maxey decided to put Joel Embiid on blast. Yeah, you heard that right. Maxey called out the big man for being late, saying it was messing with the team's vibe and leadership. Now, imagine being Embiid in that moment. Your young teammate is calling you out in front of everyone. That's gotta sting. And Embiid, he wasn't happy about it, but here's the kicker. He was even more upset that someone leaked the meeting details. He straight up said, "Whoever leaked that is a real piece of shit." Ouch. But hold up, it's not all bad. Embiid actually likes when people tell him what he needs to work on. He said, "I like when people are telling me what I'm not doing good, what I need to do better." So maybe there's hope for this team after all. Here's the thing though, all this drama is hitting the court hard. The team's looking shaky and you can feel the tension. It's like they're trying to play basketball while walking on eggshells. And with all these trade rumors flying around, it's like a pressure cooker in that locker room. You know what's crazy? Some people are saying this whole thing is blown out of proportion. Apparently, Embiid and Maxey were laughing together right after the meeting. So who knows what's really going on? But here's the million-dollar question. Is this the beginning of the end for the current 76ers roster? It's looking rough, that's for sure. The team's imploding from the inside out, and something's gotta give. But wait, you think that's the whole story? Nah, there's one more piece to this puzzle. And trust me, it's a doozy. $212 million. That's how much the 76ers are paying for their current headache. But here's the real kicker. It's not just about the money. This mega deal could be the domino that topples Philly's championship dreams for years to come. How did they end up in this mess? And is there any way out? Let's break down Paul George's massive contract. We're talking $212 million over 4 years. That's about $53 million per year. Just let that sink in for a second. The 76ers are shelling out superstar money for a guy who's playing like he forgot which end of the court is which. Now, compare that salary to what PG-13 is actually doing on the court. Remember those stats we talked about earlier? 16 points a game, shooting under 40%. That's not exactly $53 million worth of production. It's like buying a Ferrari and finding out it can barely outrun a golf cart, but it gets worse. This contract isn't just hurting the 76ers now. It's like a financial black hole sucking away their future. They can't make any big moves in the trade market. They can't sign new talent. It's like they're trying to build a championship team with one hand tied behind their back. And you know who's really feeling the pain? Guys like Tyrese Maxey. He's out there balling his heart out, having a breakout season, and he's not even close to getting that kind of money. It's gotta be frustrating for him and the other players who are actually showing up. So what's the long-term damage here? We're talking years of salary cap hell. The 76ers might struggle to build a competitive team around Embiid and Maxey for seasons to come. It's like they've painted themselves into a corner, and the paint is taking forever to dry. Is there any way out of this mess? Well, trading George isn't easy. What team wants to take on that massive contract for a player who's underperforming? There's talk about maybe restructuring the deal, but that's easier said than done. Both sides would have to agree, and let's be real, who wants to give up guaranteed millions? The 76ers took a big gamble on Paul George, and right now it looks like they're losing badly. They might be stuck in this financial quicksand for years. So what happens next? Can they turn things around, or is it time to blow it all up and start over? The 76ers took a massive gamble on Paul George, and it's blowing up in their face. This season's turning into a total disaster. Injuries, drama, and that monster contract. It's like a perfect storm of bad luck and worse decisions. You gotta wonder if this is the end of an era in Philly. Embiid's not getting any younger, and now they're stuck with this George situation. It's crazy to think how fast things can change in the NBA. So what's next? Can the 76ers pull off a miracle and turn this ship around? Or is it time to hit the reset button and start from scratch? It's a tough call, but something's gotta give. The clock's ticking and the fans are getting restless. What do you think they should do?